hours, days, videos, dealership visits, pleading with your significant other, can I please get a Stihl FS131? You did it. Congratulations. So you own a Stihl FS131 R trimmer. This is one bad mamajama. This thing has some power to get through your property and get the work done. And I want you to have this in 10, 15, 20 years. So today we're gonna go over some of the things you need to know to get the most out of this unit. We're gonna talk about some engine maintenance, some gearbox maintenance, fuel, and all that good stuff. But before we dig into that, we're gonna talk a little bit about safety, right? This is big power. This is generally a half a horsepower more than what you're gonna get out of most weed eaters, string trimmers, weed whackers, whatever you wanna call them. And it'll really seriously fling some stuff at you. So we wanna protect our face, right? It also is making noise. If I bought this machine, more than likely it's not a machine I'm gonna be out there running for just 10 minutes and off back into the shed. I'm gonna be out there for a half hour, 45 minutes, an hour. So I wanna protect my ears. I always wanna protect my ears, but long, loud noises are more damaging to our hearing. So I like the Stihl X-Vent helmet. Personally, I love the way it fits. I love that I can tension it up here, make it good. And I got this nice screen that drops, protects my full face. Yeah, safety glasses do well, but taking a rock to the cheek, to the tooth, to the nose hurts. So I really like this, and I love the way that the earmuffs can come down, and if I want to talk to somebody, I can pop them up and out of the way. So check out the X-Vent helmet. They make this in standard. They also make it in Bluetooth now. That's pretty sweet when you want to listen to some music, listen to a blog, podcast, whatever it is, to just catch up on stuff. Okay, so we got safety, right? Now let's get a little bit into this machine. We know, hopefully your dealer told you it's mixed fuel, right? They probably mentioned that it was a 4-cycle, and maybe that confused you. So 4-cycle in how it runs, but always runs mixed fuel. And we can do that two ways. One is HP Ultra to a gallon of ethanol-free fuel, right? Ethanol-free. It's important. Gas goes bad and ethanol causes damage. Hopefully there's an ethanol-free option in your neighborhood. And oil. We don't talk about oil a whole lot, but there are differences in oil, okay? First of all, just mix it right. One of these to a gallon, not a little bit more oil or a little bit more gas, just go straight up, okay? 50 to 1, one of these to a gallon. There's also different deposits that happen from different oils, and I have seen over the years certain brands of oil cause more residue buildup inside these engines, okay? So good oil, Stihl HP Ultra with 1 gallon of gas, or Moto Mix. This stuff is pretty awesome, okay? This stuff runs very clean, has an incredible long storage life, shelf life, does not have ethanol in it. This is what I hibernate with. I understand you bought this machine, you're probably gonna go through a gallon of gas a month. Great, but their time of year is gonna come when you're not. So, Moto Mix. Let's put some Moto Mix in. Let's talk about how to start this in a minute. So I'm gonna pop the lid on this. I'm going to take off the fuel cap. I think you can all see that right there. If you haven't discovered where the fuel cap is, maybe you shouldn't own this machine. So let's put in some Moto Mix. That'll be enough to, a little bit more. That'll be enough to get into the fuel filter. Put that cap back on right here. And let's talk about how to start this machine. Okay? It's always on run. This is a stop. I'm going to come around. I feel I have more room to dance. This is a stop button. I push it and it returns to run. Primer right here on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I finally got fuel. Generally 5 pumps is what I give, but I can keep pumping. Look at this. 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not going to flood it out. We have a choke right here. I'm going to push in and twist. What is that? Counterclockwise? I'm behind the machine, I can't quite tell. Now that choke is attached to this trigger right here. When I squeeze the throttle trigger, it shuts off the choke. So let me re-choke it. I'm going to start this machine by holding my hand right here not touching the throttle trigger. And I either stand up or I go down on the ground and put my knee right here. Okay, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3. As soon as it starts, I squeeze the trigger. I don't know if you caught that, but as soon as it starts, I hit the trigger and it shut that choke off. So that's how you start. Pretty nice. Nice, easy, smooth. And once it's warm, you just pull it like so. So there's how we started. We know that we're running good fuel. I have an air filter right under, I'm gonna hold this upside down, right there. And that's gonna take your Torx wrench that came with it, okay? T27 will take that out. It's a nice paper air filter. It stays clean a long time, but it also gets dirty, right? Often we forget about it, and you know, in 5 or 10 years, no lie, 5 or 10 years, oh, I got an air filter I gotta clean. Please keep up on it a little bit better than that. Your machine really likes to breathe clean air. So let me pop this filter cover off so you can get a look at it. It's a nice paper air filter. Can I see good light through it? Yes, I can. I can tap it on the ground, knock the dust out. But these will also get green and nasty just from wet, damp grass, especially where we live here in the Pacific Northwest. It's sucking in a lot of moisture. So keep up on your air filter. Your spark plug is right under here. This screw comes off, comes loose, doesn't actually come off. And I can pop this cover off, and right here is your spark plug boot. Be careful. I see people grab these and just rip them off, and actually pulls the spark plug boot off of the end of the wire. So you really want to kind of wiggle this up, or, you know, take this tool, put it underneath and lightly pry up on it, like so. Okay, now that's off. Now I can get to the spark plug. I can use this end of the Torx wrench to take that spark plug out. Hey, while we're in here, let's point out one other thing. See this screw right here? That's holding on your overhead valve cover. Remember I said this was a 4-cycle engine? Cool, awesome. That's what makes it pull easier. That's what gives it more torque. That's what keeps it cleaner, quieter, more fuel efficient. At about 125 to 150 hours, these need to be adjusted. And if you don't, you're gonna look for a problem usually in the 400 to 500 hour range. All of a sudden you're gonna have a catastrophic failure. You're gonna go, what happened? I forgot to adjust my valves. How do you know you have 150 hours? 2, 3 ways. I could keep a log, probably not gonna do that. I could come and get one of these Stihl smart connectors, which goes on the top and pairs with your phone and gives you actual runtime hours. Pretty sweet thing. Also, this machine will tell you just based on the pull. It is going to pull harder as those valves get closer to time of adjustment. You're gonna just feel more chunk, chunk, chunk as you pull it up. So, wow, that pull's easy. Remember that pull, because it's gonna get harder. And when it gets chunky, time for a valve adjustment. I didn't expect it to start there. I didn't even have that spark plug on right. Cool. Okay, and then you do have a fuel filter in the tank. I do that every few years. If you don't, you're gonna be looking maybe about sucking in some dirt or some water and causing some damage. Hey, in another video, we review the head and how to reload the Stihl AutoCut 25-2. If you need information on that, hop over to the other video. You can put all kinds of different heads on here. The DuroCut, the Polycut, with a blade kit, you can put a blade head on here. So lots of options on that end. What do we need to do at this end for maintenance? There's 2 things. One is greasing the gearbox. Turn this so we can see. So this little bolt will come out and I can take it out with a T27 or a 13 millimeter. The reason I say 13 millimeter, sometimes they're so tight that you'll screw up your T27 head. Out comes this plug, and then you grab your tube of grease right here, okay? And it's Stihl Super Lube, and Stihl Super Lube will thread in, and I'm gonna lightly squeeze it while I turn the head. Think about putting on that much, like toothpaste, Okay, does that make sense? Just a strip of toothpaste. And I want to do this about every 50 hours. Again, if I don't do it, you're going to get somewhere in the 500 hour range and have a gearbox go bad. And you're going to go, why is my head not spinning? That's why. You didn't grease it. And that happens. And there's one other thing that people talk about greasing. I don't know how critical it is. I don't see a lot of failure associated with this, but we should. It's not going to hurt, and that's the drive shaft. So I'm going to take T27 again and take this screw right here loose. Make sure you have a rag handy when you do this. It's nice and tight. Off slides the gearbox. Speaking of that, did you know that when you take this gearbox off, you can put all kinds of attachments on the end of this? We'll have to do another video on that, but we can put on an edger, a cultivator, a pole saw, a hedge trimmer, all kinds of stuff just right on the end. It's the gearbox attachment, pretty slick. So here's the drive shaft, and you can see, of course, I do not have a rag handy. That's awesome. It is loaded up with grease right now, okay? And over time, that's going to dissipate. There's my grease. And I need to refresh that. The grease that we use on that is the Stihl multi-lube, okay? And what I do is I pull it all the way out, and as I'm feeding it in, I'm spinning the shaft, and I'm applying a light layer of grease to it. Okay, when you go to put this gearbox back on, make sure that it seats all the way in. It's very easy to drop it on and think it's in place, but it may not be because we're trying to line up a square shaft. You see how that dropped down one more notch? If you don't get it right, you have an opportunity to strip out your drive shaft. And that leads to problems. So gearbox is back tight. So we know how to grease the gearbox, we know how to grease the drive shaft, we know where the spark plug is, we know where the air filter is, we know about the valve adjustment, and awesome, thank you Jen for that. Because now I can talk about a couple more things. I've covered all kinds of stuff really quickly. Hey, watch it again, I'm glad I could help you through that, but you also got this owner's manual. In that owner's manual is going to cover stuff a little bit more in detail. But reach out to your local dealer. Also, there should be a safety manual in there. It's going to cover, the things about protecting your face and your ears and what heads you should put on or how you should deal with that end or, keeping the neighbor kids away. That sort of stuff. Important stuff. You also got a shoulder strap with it, something that's going to make it a little more comfortable to use long term. There we go. The Stihl FS131R, worth the wait. You're gonna love it. The power's insane. The life, the performance, it's the right machine for you. Hey, this is Josh from Carl's Mower and Saw. Thanks for watching our videos. We're proud of the fact that we've been serving you with the best in outdoor power equipment since 1990. We're glad that you had an opportunity to sit down, watch our videos, learn something about an exciting new product that we have, something that interests you for your property, or really how to use your equipment to the best of its ability. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube. We're excited to share more information with you. See you soon.